It's 10:43 on a Saturday morning. A luxury shopping district in Manhattan is packed. Designer stores, luxury watches, Italian suits, exotic cars parked outside. People stand in line, waiting to spend money. Then, a black SUV quietly pulls up. No cameras, no security, no attention. An older man steps out wearing faded blue jeans, a gray hoodie, and simple white sneakers. He walks past a Rolex store, without slowing down, past Louis Vuitton, without looking, past Ferrari, without taking a single photo. Inside one of those stores, a young salesman whispers to his coworker, "He probably can't afford anything here." The old man smiles, as if he heard him. He keeps walking. 30 minutes later, he wires $18 million into a private investment fund and never buys a single thing. The salesman never discovers. He just laughed at one of the richest people he'll ever see. Because real wealth leaves quietly. Only insecurity makes noise. Most people believe becoming rich means finally buying everything you ever wanted. The richest people know something completely different. Every purchase has two prices: the price you pay today and the freedom it quietly steals tomorrow. That's why the wealthiest people on earth often refuse to buy things that everyone else believes prove success. Not because they can't afford them, because they understand something almost nobody else does. Every unnecessary purchase costs far more than money. It costs options. It costs peace. Sometimes, it costs years of your life. Meet Ryan, age 26, software engineer, six-figure salary, smart, hardworking, ambitious. Everything seems perfect. Every Friday, the same celebration, a new gadget, a better restaurant, designer sneakers, luxury vacations planned months in advance. Nothing feels excessive. His friends tell him, "You earned it." His social media agrees. His coworkers do exactly the same. Ryan believes this is what success looks like, until someone new joins the company. His name is Victor. 58 years old. Same company, same position for years. No luxury watch, no designer clothes, no expensive car. Every day, he parks a 12-year-old Honda Accord in the same parking space. People joke about it. "Come on, Victor, at least buy yourself something nice." Victor just smiles. He never explains himself. He never argues. He simply walks inside. Ryan doesn't understand. A man who's worked for over 30 years. Why does he still live like this? Where does all his money go? Or has he discovered something nobody else sees? One afternoon, the company announces an unexpected bonus. The office explodes with excitement. People begin making plans before the money even reaches their bank accounts. One employee orders a luxury watch. Another books a trip to Dubai. Someone else starts shopping for a brand new Tesla. Ryan opens his laptop. He starts comparing expensive apartments. Then, he notices Victor. He's sitting quietly, eating the same homemade lunch he brings every day. Ryan finally asks, "Aren't you excited about the bonus?" Victor smiles. "Of course. So, what are you buying?" Victor looks out the window, then quietly says, "More freedom." Ryan laughs. He thinks it's a joke. Victor doesn't. That answer follows Ryan home. More freedom. What does that even mean? Freedom isn't something you buy. Or is it? That night, Ryan scrolls through Instagram. Luxury vacations. Designer watches. New cars. Everyone seems happier than him. Until he remembers Victor's face. No expensive watch. No sports car. Yet somehow, he looked calmer than everyone in the office. Ryan closes Instagram. For the first time, he begins wondering if the richest people are playing an entirely different game. A game nobody ever taught him. 2 weeks later, Ryan walks past Victor's desk. He notices something unusual. Victor isn't looking at shopping websites. He's reviewing investment reports, rental properties, dividend income, business cash flow. Ryan sits down beside him. "Can I ask you something?" Victor nods. "Why do you never buy anything expensive?" Victor closes his laptop, smiles, and says, "Because every dollar has a job." Ryan waits. Victor continues. "Most people send their dollars shopping. I send mine to work." Silence. Ryan has never heard anyone describe money like that before. At that moment, he has no idea. Those words are about to change every financial decision he'll make for the rest of his life. If you're tired of financial advice that sounds good but never changes anything, subscribe to Dark Capital. Because the biggest wealth lessons aren't about making more money. They're about making fewer expensive mistakes. Ryan couldn't stop thinking about one sentence. Every dollar has a job. For days, it echoed in his mind. At work, driving home, even lying in bed. Nobody had ever explained money that way. To Ryan, money was something you spent after working hard. To Victor, money was an employee, and every employee had to produce more employees. The following Friday, the bonus finally arrived. The office felt like a holiday. Phones came out. Shopping tabs opened. People compared prices. Luxury watches, gaming setups, designer furniture. One coworker proudly announced, "I just ordered the newest Rolex." Another smiled, "I'm finally upgrading my BMW." The room erupted with congratulations. Ryan almost joined them. His finger hovered over the "Buy Now" button. Then, Victor walked past his desk. He didn't say anything. He didn't need to. Ryan quietly closed the laptop. That evening, Ryan invited Victor for coffee. Not because he wanted investment advice. He wanted to understand something much deeper. After a few minutes, Ryan finally asked, "If you had to start over with nothing, what's the first thing you still wouldn't buy?" Victor smiled. Without thinking, he answered, "Approval." Ryan frowned. "What do you mean?" Victor leaned back. "The first thing rich people stop buying is other people's approval." Silence. Ryan had expected him to say, luxury cars, expensive watches, big houses. Instead, Victor attacked something invisible. Victor pointed around the coffee shop. A young couple walked in. The man wore designer clothes, an expensive watch, luxury sneakers. Every few minutes, he looked around, checking who was looking at him. Victor quietly smiled. "See, he's not wearing those things because he loves them. He's wearing them because he hopes someone else will." Ryan watched carefully. Victor was right. The man wasn't enjoying his coffee. He was enjoying being noticed. Victor took a sip of coffee, then asked Ryan a question. "How many things have you bought that made you happy for less than a month?" Ryan laughed, then stopped laughing. His mind started listing everything. The newest iPhone, designer shoes, noise-canceling headphones, a luxury apartment. Every purchase felt exciting, until it became normal. Then another purchase replaced it. Victor nodded. That's how people become prisoners. Not because they're poor, because their happiness has a monthly payment. Ryan looked down at his coffee. That sentence hurt, because it was true. Victor reached into his wallet. He pulled out an old folded piece of paper. It wasn't money. It wasn't a receipt. It was a handwritten list. 7 short lines. Ryan looked confused. Victor smiled. "I've carried this list for 23 years. Whenever I want to buy something, I read it first." Ryan asked quietly, "What's on it?" Victor folded the paper again, smiled. "You'll understand, one lesson at a time." Ryan didn't realize it yet, but he had just been introduced to the 7 things the richest people almost never buy. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe to Dark Capital. Because real wealth isn't built by earning more. It's built by thinking differently before you spend. Ryan couldn't stop thinking about that folded piece of paper. 7 lines, 7 rules, 23 years, 1 list. How could something so small control an entire financial life? The following Monday, Ryan arrived at work early. Victor was already there. Same coffee, same homemade lunch, same calm expression. Ryan smiled. "Can I finally see the list?" Victor looked at him for a moment, then slowly unfolded the paper. The first line, Ryan already knew. 1. Never buy other people's approval. Victor pointed to the second line. 2. Never buy a payment that steals your freedom. Ryan immediately thought about luxury cars, designer apartments, boat loans, vacation debt. Victor quietly said, "If you have to work because of something you bought, you don't own it. It owns you." The third line read, 3. Never buy something to impress people you'll never see again. Victor smiled. Think about the last time you filled your shopping cart. How many strangers did you hope would notice? Ryan remembered. The expensive jacket, the watch, the new shoes. Months later, nobody remembered any of them, except the credit card. The fourth line made Ryan completely silent. 4. Never buy convenience at the cost of your future. Victor explained. Every time you pay someone to solve a problem, you could easily solve yourself. You aren't just spending money. You're training yourself to become dependent. Ryan remembered paying for things simply because they were easier, not because they were necessary. Victor pointed at the fifth line. 5. Never buy the newest version just because it exists. Ryan laughed. That's definitely me. Victor laughed too. Companies spend billions convincing people last year's product suddenly became old. Most millionaires don't upgrade because advertising tells them to. They upgrade because life actually requires it. Then came the sixth line. Victor looked directly at Ryan. 6. Never buy an identity. Ryan frowned. Victor explained. People buy sports cars hoping to become successful. Luxury watches hoping to become respected. Designer clothes hoping to become confident. Then he smiled. Real confidence has never been sold in a store. The coffee shop became completely quiet. Ryan realized almost every expensive thing he had ever wanted was actually an identity he wished he already had. Finally, Victor unfolded the last corner of the paper. The seventh line. The shortest one, but somehow the most powerful. 7. Never buy anything that costs your peace. Ryan stared at those words. Victor quietly folded the paper, then looked out the window. Money isn't supposed to make your life look bigger. It's supposed to make your worries smaller. Silence. Ryan didn't ask another question, because for the first time, he understood what real wealth looked like. It wasn't visible. It wasn't loud. It wasn't parked outside. It lived quietly, inside choices. 10 years later, Ryan still drove an ordinary car, still lived below his means, still ignored trends. People often assumed he wasn't doing very well. He never corrected them, because the richest people rarely waste energy explaining what they already know. One Saturday morning, Ryan walked past a luxury dealership. He stopped for a second, smiled, then kept walking, not because he couldn't afford everything inside, because he had finally learned the difference between buying things and buying freedom. Before you leave, if this story changed the way you think about money, subscribe to Dark Capital. Every week, we explore the psychology of wealth, the silent habits of millionaires, and the financial mistakes that quietly steal decades from people's lives. Because the goal was never to own more things. The goal was always to own more of your life.